and it says I'm live. So it's always, you never know with YouTube. Sometimes they throw these curveballs right at the beginning. Ariel, hello, hello. Hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can. Okay, I take it everything's good. Audio is good. You can actually see the video. Just give me a thumbs up or a one or something if it's okay on your end. I'm still struggling here on my end. So, how about it, folks? You got some audio there? I hear everything's good. Right on. Okay. Very best. Lynn, Hill, Sharp, Mariel. All right, let's roll. Okay, so I can close this one out now. I went to start up and YouTube just threw a curveball last minute, right? So, yeah, never know till you get ready to roll, eh? Says I'm not getting enough video to maintain smooth streaming, so we'll see how that works, what's going on. I'm scared to click on it. It says open widget. So, it says poor streaming status. Errors. No data. Stream's healthy. Who knows what's going on now? It's all a conspiracy, I think. So, yo, it's just getting crazy out there. So much happening. And all these notifications popping up all over my screen. Stop it, YouTube. Just stop it. Ah, oh, gee, where to start? Where to start? We've got uh, another liberal. Liberals have another seat now, thanks to Michael Maw from Markham. The snake crossed the floor. You know, sure, Canadians here know that because it's been all over the news. The dirty tricks. Apparently, Don Davies from the NDP said that he was willing to give up one of his seats so he could become so that individual become the House Speaker and or Speaker of the House, and then the Speaker could step down and sit with the Liberals, and they would give them a majority. It doesn't get much dirtier than the Canadian politics. I thought the American politics were a little bit sketchy there at times, but nope, Canada's worse because we're just a so-called democracy. And like I say, so-called democracy, right? Not a real one. Paid at the halftime of the Packers game. Okay. So anyways, yeah, that's what's going down here. And I'm on the same page as some of the others that I think it's CCP, Communist Party's involved in this. It's just too obvious. We got, actually, I can bring this picture up here. And this is, there's a lot of people in this picture, I'll tell you that. But there's one that is, where am I here? Get this up here, that's better. Okay, we got one in this picture that's almost dead center, just to the two to the right of dead center, and you'll see that's Michael Maw standing there with all these communists celebrating whatever communists celebrate. So he wasn't hiding it in the back. Yeah, I'm not good for the separatist movement. Oh yeah, Carney's pushing that along pretty good, isn't he? So there's 3 provinces now: Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Quebec. Uh, this Chapo here, uh, this chap here, this has been dubbed, so whether it's accurate or not, I don't know. But it's, I'm assuming, I know I shouldn't assume, but I think it probably is pretty much bang on. It's a little propaganda, a little.
Hello, everyone. I am Wen Woman from the Toronto Chinese Community Association in Canada. As an overseas Chinese businessman, I am honored to witness the Communist Party of China's 100th birthday. As participants and witnesses of socialist construction for 100 years, the Chinese Communist Party has led the Chinese people to unite and strive, achieving remarkable accomplishments in various fields and writing magnificent chapters. As China's international status continues to rise, the social status of U.S. overseas Chinese also continues to improve. I feel both proud and honored. The great Communist Party of China is leading the people of the entire country to quicken their pace and strive towards the second centenary goal. The great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation is within reach, standing at a new historical crossroads. We should strengthen our confidence in development and continue to promote the spirit of integration and harmony, uniting the wisdom and strength of overseas Chinese with my commitment and action. On the occasion of the 100th anniversary of the Communist Party of China, I would like to extend my best wishes on behalf of the Confederation of Toronto Chinese Canadian Organizations for a happy 100th birthday to the Communist Party of China. I wish for our motherland to be more prosperous and thriving. I wish the couple happiness and good health.
Yeah, well, I don't really wish too much goodwill towards the Communist Party of China or the Communist Party of Canada, for that matter. So, this a little example of what we got here going on in Canada. We know Carney's been very tight with China, and I would say that we've been sold out. We've been sold a counterfeit bill of goods or whatever. So I don't know. It don't look good. This really does. I see him bouncing up and down. It must be the camera. I'm not sure. Maybe I could correct that a bit. Try this. Okay. Everybody get dizzy. Me bouncing up and down. But we got a lot more going on, not just China. We've got NATO acting up. And if I can find it, it is coming up. I think that was it. I just went by it. Okay. This is the Mark Rutte, the our NATO chief, Mark Rutte, and he's pretty greasy, doing his best to get us into it. It's a 2-minute clip here.
We need to be ready, because at the end of this first quarter of the 21st century, conflicts are no longer fought at arm's length. Conflict is at our door. Russia has brought war back to Europe, and we must be prepared for the scale of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured. Imagine it, a conflict reaching every home, every workplace. Destruction mass mobilization, millions displaced, widespread suffering, and extreme losses. It is a terrible thought. But if we deliver on our commitments, this is a tragedy we can prevent. NATO is here to protect 1 billion people on both sides of the Atlantic. Our mission is to protect you, your families, your friends, and your future. We cannot let down our guard, and we won't. I count on our governments to keep up with their commitments and go further and faster, because we cannot falter or fail. Listen to the sirens across Ukraine. Look at the bodies pulled from the rubble. Think of the Ukrainians who might go to sleep tonight and not wake up tomorrow. And what is standing between what's happening to them and what could happen to us? Only NATO. I have a duty as Secretary General to tell you what lies ahead if we don't act fast, invest in defense, and continue our support for Ukraine.
Yeah. So this guy here is pretty sleazy. And NATO, I've said years ago, we should not even be involved with NATO. We've got nothing to contribute to NATO anyways. The liberals seen to that they disarmed the country and continue to try to disarm the citizens. So I know Carney, he has a plan here, and it says here, I'm just looking at this one here, it says the Canadian military is looking to start conscription. Good luck, because all those immigrants that come in are not going to step up to join the military, that's for sure. They'll actually fight against us here in country. They want, I'm going to try to see if I can enlarge this. Yeah, I'll show you this. This is Carney's plans. The purpose is the supplementary reserve. It's a subcomponent of the reserve forces. Purpose of the reserves subcomponent is to augment the regular force and other subcomponents. But down here it says the supplementary reserve members and other subcomponents of the reserve forces through the component and subcomponent transfer processes, the CAF members, will be processes as required during normal peacetime situations with the consent of each supplemental reserve member, or during an emergency, or if placed on active service without their consent. Liability to serve. Supplementary reserve members may be placed on active service under subsection 31(1) of the National Defense Act. So, a bunch of those civil servants that can't even show up for work, they're going to rely on them. 300,000, that's what Carney wants, 300,000, right? They're not going to get them, so that means that they're going to go to the general population, and it's going to be the Canadians, the real Canadians, are the ones that he's going to try to force through conscription into the military to go over into the meat grinder in Europe that Rutte is pushing so hard for. So I don't think that's going to work. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but I just can't see it going down the way he's planning. This is another short video.
General Carignan and DM Beck.
I'll start it over here for you. This is from our military. It's another 2-minute video.
General Carignan and DM Beck pointed out that their initiative would require a whole of society engagement, which means that the Department of National Defense will not be acting alone to achieve this lofty goal. One clue as to where they are headed with this is an acknowledgement that the CAF Tiger team will be consulting allies, such as Finland, for their expertise in maintaining large standing military reserve forces. For the record, Finland's solution is the fact that military service is mandatory for all males and voluntary for females. While I am personally in favor of mandatory national service, I'm not sure how such a measure would fly given the current political climate in Canada. That said, if General Carignan and DM Beck's scheme does somehow come to fruition, the question then begs, where do they plan to house all these personnel? In a recent report by the Auditor General, the Defense Department was slammed for not addressing the housing crisis for military personnel.
We are having underway a bit of a review on our living accommodations program and what that means in terms of what our needs will be in the long term for housing, including both RHUs, so residential housing units, but also barracks.
Not only was the quantity insufficient, it is estimated that there is a shortfall of some 3,700 housing units, but the quality was also lacking. Among the deficiencies noted by the Auditor General, it was found that there were 227 high-priority repairs required across 32 D&D residential buildings, with only 5% of those repairs being addressed. There were also faults found like the lack of safe drinking water, lack of Wi-Fi, and communal showers rather than individual stalls. These are all noted in the AG's report. This is not a new development. The average age of D&D accommodation infrastructure is 60 years, and a lack of foresight in investment and in maintenance has led to the present mess. If there is a silver lining to the CAF's personnel shortfall crisis, it is that if the ranks were actually fully staffed, thousands more accommodation units would already be required. Before looking to enlist hundreds of thousands more soldiers, the CAF needs to start taking proper care of those already in uniform. This has been On Target. I'm Scott Taylor.
Yeah, so they don't even have housing for them. As a matter of fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, during the big panic with the Syrians that Trudeau was flooding the country with, they kicked the military out of the barracks and put the Syrian immigrants, refugees, whatever you want to call them, into the military barracks. And the troops, the privates, were out in tents. I guess that's the way they like to treat our military. That's the government we have right now. Trudeau hated the military. His father hated it. But I think Russia has something to say about this too. I'm going to bring it up here, and you're going to have to look at the subtitles because it's in Russian. I don't speak Russian. Not yet.
Нацистский режим давно бьет по нашей территории, за пределами зоны боевых действий, устраивает теракты в отношении мирного населения, гражданства и инфраструктуры нашей страны. Однако подобное потенциальное развитие ситуации принципиальным образом изменит наши отношения с Западным миром. Если решение о снятии ограничений действительно принято или будет принято, это будет означать, что с этого момента страны НАТО начинают прямую войну с Россией. В этом случае мы, разумеется, будем вынуждены принимать соответствующие решения со всеми вытекающими из них для западных агрессоров последствиями. Отмазаться от ответственности и перевалить всю вину на Киев у наших западных коллег уже не получится. Как известно, применение таких вооружений возможно только при обладании доступом к разведданным со спутников США и ЕС. В самой Украине такой возможности нет и близко. Исключительно военнослужащие НАТО могут программировать.
So Russia's not happy, and I can understand why. All the money that's been poured into there, weapons, not good. This one here is another one. This is in Moscow. It's yeah, sitting in Moscow. Hey, bear with me here, I'll bring it up. So it's a few minutes longer, but at least it's got audio, you can hear it.
From the very beginning of it, Hungary has been
Turn that down a little bit.
representing a position in favor of peace talks, ceasefire, and peace agreement. For this position of ours, we have been under tremendous political attack in Europe. You know, usually there are 25 other foreign ministers, because the 26th is a Slovak guy who is representing similar kind of position I do. So 25 foreign ministers usually bash me once every month on the Foreign Affairs Council meeting for our position. Why? Because actually they are more interested in prolonging this war than stopping it. And you might raise the question how it can be the case, why you say such things. And because of my experience. So whenever someone tried to make peace, whenever someone tried to stand up for peace talks, these European politicians immediately put a huge hatred on that given person or on that given government, saying that this is the capitulation of Ukraine, this is threatening European unity, whatever. So my experience is that President Trump has been doing his best in order to make peace, while the Europeans are constantly undermining these efforts. And you know, the reason might be that it has now become obvious that the European response to this war is a huge failure from all aspects, a huge failure. And it has now a tangible impact on the everyday life of the European people. They are hypocritical, and they do the same, but they just want to hide it. So imagine the LNG exports of Russia to the European Union has hit all-time record during the first half of this year. Now, Hungary buys 0 cubic meter of Russian LNG, 0. This means that those are the Western Europeans who are buying it. We have never been ready to look at the issue of energy supply as a political or an ideological issue. Because with politics, with ideology, you cannot heat, you cannot cool, you cannot operate your factories, you cannot create hot water, right? Based on geographical and physical determination, yes, we are not able to supply the country without Russian sources. The Russians have been always reliable when it comes to energy supplies. We have never been cheated by them. They always, when we needed more, they delivered more. When we wanted to renegotiate the price was renegotiated. We have a good cooperation with Russia on nuclear. We see that the Russians have a good cooperation with the Germans and the French on nuclear as well, which is with the Americans as well, which is a normal way of the division of labor. So we move on with our nuclear investment as well. We think that this war doesn't have a solution at the battlefield. This war will not be reverted on the battlefield because, I mean, for the last 4 years, so many weapons have been sent, so much money has been sent, and if that big amount of weapons were not able to revert the tide, then it will be not reverted, which means to us that if there's no solution on the battleground, there must be a solution provided by diplomacy at the negotiating table. So ceasefire or peace agreement, peace talks, negotiations, those should take the lead instead of the battlefield operations. If the European leaders had not made their best to undermine the efforts of President Trump, if the European leaders had not escorted Zelensky to the White House on that famous meeting, there could be peace in Ukraine now. But unfortunately, the European leaders, the liberal elite, has been undermining the peace process and the peace efforts of President Trump on a daily basis. I think that such a decision, confiscating the frozen assets, would have a very, very bad impact on Europe, generally speaking. Let's say that the trust towards European economy, the trust towards the European investment environment would just disappear immediately.
Yeah, I think Putin's getting pretty fed up with Europe. So he just looks at Carney and figures, well, big deal. Actually, China and Russia are pretty close. So he probably just writes Canada off because we're pretty much communist China run now. So, uh, you know, let's see, where else was I? This guy here. This is another response from Russia. Or Mark Rutte. As soon as it verifies I'm a human, I can start it. So, gee, with all this spyware on these, you think it could just look at me and figure out I'm human. As far as I know. Okay. It's not a video, it's audio with a picture, but
Kremlin rebukes NATO chief's call for World War II scale war readiness. The Kremlin rebuked NATO chief Mark Rutte for invoking World War II to justify European rearmament, arguing that such rhetoric ignores the Soviet Union's catastrophic wartime losses and trivializes the reality of total war. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has criticized NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte for invoking World War II when urging European allies to prepare for a possible confrontation with Russia, arguing that such comparisons ignore the historical reality of total war and its human cost. Speaking to Russian journalist Pavel Zarubin, Peskov said Rutte's remarks reflected a generational detachment from the devastation experienced during the conflict. Well, this is probably a statement made by someone from a generation that has forgotten what World War II was like. Thank God, we grew up in a country where people cherish the memory of World War II was, what a horror it was, and what we had to do to save Europe from fascism, Peskov said. Rutte made the comments on Thursday during a press conference with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, where he called on European NATO members to sharply increase defense spending. The NATO chief urged governments to adopt what he described as a wartime mindset and to be prepared for a conflict on a scale comparable to that faced by earlier generations, warning that Russia could be NATO's next target. Moscow rejected the framing, with Peskov later describing the remarks as reckless and historically uninformed. Unfortunately, Mr. Rutte, when making such irresponsible statements, simply does not understand what he is talking about, Peskov said in an interview released on Sunday. Great patriotic sacrifice. World War II, known in Russia as the Great Patriotic War, occupies a central place in the country's historical memory. The Soviet Union bore the heaviest human losses of any nation during the conflict, with most historians estimating total deaths at around 26 to 27 million people, including both military personnel and civilians. Of those, between 8.7 and 11 million were soldiers, while the remainder were civilians killed through Nazi occupation policies, mass executions, forced labor, famine, and siege warfare. The scale of those losses has shaped Russia's sensitivity to wartime rhetoric, particularly comparisons that frame large-scale war as a manageable or preparatory scenario. Russian officials have repeatedly argued that invoking World War II in contemporary security debates risks trivializing the destruction experienced across Soviet territory and the role the Red Army played in defeating Nazi Germany. Peskov's remarks reflect this broader position, presenting NATO's language not as strategic warning but as a casual treatment of a historical catastrophe that remains foundational to Russia's national memory. Read more. UN states overwhelmingly back Russia's anti-Nazism resolution.
Yeah, Rutte, Well, he's just a quack, eh? So NATO has just turned into a complete crapshoot. It was going downhill for a lot of years, but now it's really bottomed out. All they want to do is get everybody into a big fight. People don't want to go there. So, anyways, that's kind of where we are on that. I didn't have any more on that. I got some other stuff here I was going to look at. Let's see. Like, we're being overrun anyways. They got that MAID program fired up big time, so I guess when China moves in, they can just, it'll be all ready for them to get rid of the useless eaters, the Canadian useless eaters. Just drag everybody in and give them the shot. It's, you know, but it's more user friendly than a bullet, maybe. I guess they figure, or they don't want to waste their bullets. They got the MAID set up, so don't worry, they would be quite happy to use it. Where else was I here? Because I didn't even plan on getting into this war stuff. It just all kind of popped up. So this one here is just about impossible to see. So what I will do is I will just read it off, and all it is a you'll see it's just this old black box. The EU ministers agree that chat control, text to protect kids online. It's all about the kids, right? We got to censor that internet because, you know, we've got to protect the kids. After 3 years, the European Council has passed a compromise on the controversial online child sexual abuse legislation. So they want the warrantless mass surveillance of all emails, chats, messengers, kind of like the government of Canada right now, right? Mandatory ID for everyone using social media. That's the end of online anonymity, kind of like Canada, kind of like Carney's plans for us. So that's our censorship coming. I think that's in, I don't know, I'm losing track if it's Bill C9 or if it's C14 or C11 or C5 or something. I don't know. They got so many censorship bills, it's just hard to keep track of them now. So so this one here, this is from Ireland. This young Irish lass here. This is only, these are the usual clips, right? Under a couple of minutes or whatever. So I think her volume is a little low. I better try to bring it up somewhat, I believe.
People are constantly asking me, you don't make the videos anymore, or they'll say like, you know, your videos never come anymore. And I'm like, they have me living on the censorship stuff, you know, but I'm going to show you the proof. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 screenshots of the same video, right, posted at the same time on 3 different platforms, right, earlier today. And just have a look at the difference. Okay. So this one's TikTok, right? As you can see, very underwhelming. There's like 43 likes, 16 comments, 2 favorites, 190 views. Let's move on, shall we? So here we have YouTube, right? Another heavily censored platform. So here we have 170 views, 58 likes, just, you know, very underwhelming. And then, my friends, we come to the free speech platform that is on this. There's 61 comments, 285 reposts, 948 likes, and 8.8 thousand views. I mean, thank God for X. Thank God for Elon Musk and for people like him that actually care about sovereignty and about what's really happening, and not only just acknowledging it, they're actively trying to fight against it, because without X, without Elon, can you imagine what we'd be stuck with? The likes of YouTube and RTE and TikTok just censoring everything that we know, everything that we're told. Long live free speech, long live sovereignty, and long live those that are courageous enough to stand up for it.
Yeah. One of these times I'm going to get hammered by this platform, because I kind of...
People are constantly asking
That's
me.
enough, darling. I've got I started out dipping my toes in the water. I'm probably waist high now, so we'll see. Like I say, there's always rumble to fall back on and X, but see how it goes. Play the game. Just keep putting this stuff out there anyways. And like I say, this live stream was supposed to be all about censorship, so that's what we're getting into here right now. War and censorship goes hand in hand anyways. So this is a little longer. This is a 3-minute one, but man, X censors a lot. Yeah, I haven't run into that myself, but I've heard that too. But there's a lot that's on X. Anyways, here's another young lady here. Where is it? There it is. I believe this one's Canadian. Pretty sure she is.
What is social control? And why do governments use it? When people talk about social control, it can sound abstract or conspiratorial. But in political science, it has a very clear meaning, especially in the relationship between governments and citizens. So what is the definition? Social control is the set of tools a government uses to shape, guide, or restrict the behavior of its citizens in order to keep the system stable and maintain authority. It can be soft, like education and messaging, or hard, like laws, penalties, and surveillance. Let's now look at some modern forms of social control. Today, the most visible forms are the ones you see in the news. At first, there is censorship and content moderation, governments pressuring platforms like Google and Meta to remove harmful or misleading information. Secondly, there is government propaganda and narrative management, shaping what people think through media, framing, and selective facts. Then there is financial repression, exit taxes, capital controls, tracking crypto, limiting gold or cash, measures that make it harder to move money or leave the system. At last, there is fear and enemy creation, highlighting threats, internal or external, to justify tighter control, from misinformation to foreign influence to security risks. These tools don't always look like control, but they function that way, and governments use them. So why do governments use social control? When a country enters a phase of decline or systems start to fail, economically, socially, or geopolitically, governments face three pressures. 1. Falling legitimacy. Citizens trust institutions less. 2. Rising instability. Polarization, economic stress, fragmentation. 3. Shrinking resources. Debt grows. Growth slows. Capital leaves. When stability becomes harder to produce through prosperity or trust, states compensate with control. It's a pattern we see over and over in history. When a country weakens, its government tends to increase control to hold things together. Now, what to watch for in real life? In practical terms, here's what citizens should pay attention to. 1. New powers framed as temporary, then becoming permanent. 2. Financial rules that restrict your options and financial freedom. 3. Digital identity systems that link identity, finance, and access. 4. Safety measures that quietly expand surveillance. 5. Narratives that justify more control by creating threat or fear. Social control rarely arrives all at once. to build slowly, step by step. Understanding and recognizing social control helps you understand your world and the stage your society is in. This is the next big cycle, your guide to navigating a new world order.
I think we pretty much covered all those steps here in Canada. So, it's going to be rougher sledding here now. I mean, this right here is a very common thing to see now online when you're in there surfing around looking for stuff. You get that. This content isn't available in Canada in response to Canadian government legislation. News content can't be viewed on Facebook. Not that I use Facebook, but anyways, yeah. See, we've got C9 right now. They've been fighting over that big time in committee, and we just can't let it happen. This one is a poison pill for sure.
Here's what people are missing about Bill C9. It's not really about hate crimes as much as it is about thought crimes. And what really troubles me is that now the government and police officers on the ground can look at your actions and imply or impose upon you what you were thinking when you did it. So that an offense under the criminal code now has a hate crime element to it, which dramatically increases the penalties you would be facing. And it's ripe for misapplication to control speech. So if you start criticizing a policy or criticizing a group in Canada that's doing something that you think hurts Canada, they can say, oh my God, that's a hate crime. And now you're going to be at the mercy of a police department that's politically correct, laying charges that could destroy your life. We've seen what it did in England and Scotland and Ireland. And essentially, the police over there are spending their resources arresting people for Facebook posts while rapes go uncharged, uninvestigated, while the country is falling apart, because these are visible things that we can show. And it looks like the government is protecting the vulnerable by curtailing the speech of the citizenry, but it doesn't allow the citizenry to criticize the government. It's a double-edged sword. We should be very careful about Bill C9, and we should do everything we can to make sure it doesn't pass into law.
Yeah, they're sure pushing that one hard. That's being drug out in committee. These are two conservative politicians here, Garnet Jennis and Andrew Lawton. Andrew Lawton's a great addition to the party. It's a 3-minute clip of these two guys on Bill C9.
Hi, folks. Conservatives are fighting for religious freedom in Parliament. Andrew Lawton, MP from Southern Ontario, is our lead on this critical fight on Bill C9. And we just sat in the Justice Committee, which was abruptly adjourned. So a lot of people are wondering, what just happened, Andrew? What just happened?
We're still trying to figure it out. The Liberals had actually made arrangements with the House of Commons so that we could meet until midnight. They were very keen, as they've been saying publicly for weeks. They think it's a top priority that we get Bill C9 passed, their so-called anti-hate bill. But we know that to get it passed, they've made a secret deal with the Bloc Québécois to make it easy to prosecute people criminally for preaching scripture, for preaching about religious beliefs, whether it's Jews, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Hindus, doesn't matter. And I don't think they wanted to have that debate with us. They saw how many of you have been speaking out and raising concerns, speaking out directly to your Liberal members of Parliament, and I think they got a little bit concerned. So we can't let up on this fight. We are going to be returning on Thursday to continue clause by clause on C9, and the Liberals are going to have to get on the record and say they stand with religious freedom or do they stand against it.
Right, so Conservatives are fighting this this deal you described between the Liberals and the Bloc that would attack religious freedom, and the Liberals had the resources to have this discussion in committee, but they abruptly adjourned the meeting, which is very interesting that they would do that. Conservatives, of course, were ready to work, but also committed to opposing these proposed changes to Bill C9. So, Andrew, they did that, but your point that the public engagement on this may be having some impression, and maybe the Liberals are slowing down in their interactions. What are the steps people can take to keep the momentum going and to make sure the Liberals really, if they don't see the light, make them feel the heat? What can be done to make them see the light and feel the heat on this?
Well, look, we need to tell the government that Canadians are standing up for religious freedom, and the best way you can do that is by signing the petition. Garnet's linked to it in the social media post to defend religious freedom. Also, reach out and tell your member of Parliament to stand up for religious freedom, to oppose this Liberal Bloc alliance, to attack free speech and religious expression, and attack the provisions of Bill C9 that are fundamentally anti-free speech. That's the most important thing you can do, and you have to do it right now. This issue is before the Justice Committee at this very moment.
And thanks so much for your leadership on this. Thursday afternoon is the next scheduled slot for the Justice Committee. Likely the government will bring up clause by clause, and so that's a critical window again for people to make their voice heard. Thanks everyone. Please sign the petition, as Andrew mentioned. We'll be linking to that. Please sign the petition and share this information, and we'll keep you updated as the week unfolds.
Andrew's doing really good in committee. I've been watching it, and he's new. But, of course, he was in the independent media, True North, and he's actually, I think he's the head, not chair, but for the conservative members that are sitting in committee. I think that is Andrew's gig. So, doing good. We need more like Andrew. This, as a matter of fact, here's a 3.5 minute video of Andrew in committee. Now, anybody's not too familiar, I'm sure a lot of people are, but somebody may not be. The consequences of Bill C-9. You can go to prison if you quote some Bible passages. So they want to censor the Bible. And, of course, we don't want any part of that. The Quran would be all right. They won't censor that, of course. I mean, they're running the show anyways. Now it appears to be. Anyways, here's Andrew's 3.5 minutes in the committee on C9.
There are people who have said if the Liberals are going to criminalize quoting scripture, they better start building new jails. And I would point out here, as we've been talking about bail and justice issues, it appears that thought crime is the only crime Liberals seem to want to penalize. We have been trying on this community for months to get to work on the serious criminal justice issues that our constituents sent us here to tackle. This is what Canadians want. This is what Canadians expect of us. This is what Canadians have demanded. They have not demanded restrictions on freedom of expression. They have not demanded restrictions on freedom of religion. They have demanded action on bail. So with that, I move that the committee now proceed to the consideration of Bill C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act.
Mr. Housefather, it's a dilatory motion.
I understand. Point of order, Mr. Chair. This motion was already moved in this meeting. This is the continuation of the meeting of 2 days ago, of Tuesday. This exact motion was moved by Mr. Rock at that meeting, and you cannot move the same dilatory motion twice in the same date. On the same point of order when you're ready, Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Lawton, go ahead.
So, well, I respect the point. The purpose of this, if you consult with precedent, is that when new information has transpired, new information has taken place, the context of a dilatory motion changes. So while the wording may have previously...
Okay, Mr. Lawton, I understand the point. You're getting into procedure now. I have enough information with the ruling, so I don't need that. But this has been moved. It has been dealt with. You're right, actually more than once. Having said that, we want to vote on it again. But I just want to point out that nothing has changed today. The same subject. In fact, the motion has been moved in the context of this very amendment debate, which is your amendment. So there is no new information with all due respect, but I will allow a vote. So, Mr. Parsh.
Mr. Osfather.
Mrs. Patencio?
No.
Ms. Dillon?
No.
Mr. Chin?
No.
Mr. Brock? As the Conservative Party is the only party that cares about community safety in this country,
It's a yes or no vote.
the answer is absolutely yes.
No vote, Mr. Brock.
Absolutely yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, listen, as I said earlier, let's maintain a level of respectful decorum in the room.
I was trying to be respectful.
Okay, it's a yes or no vote. I can get Mr. Jennis to...
So the audio is not working good, hey? I'm going to see if I can see what's going on here. It's hard to say. I'm not sure. How is my audio? Is my audio any better than the video that was playing, or... Not sure. I'm not allowed to, I can't change any settings on a live stream while broadcasting. So, yeah, it doesn't allow me to change anything. Audio very intermittent, eh? It's saying that I'm getting, now it's okay. Yeah, it's saying that, it's not getting enough, anyways. Line's 5-5. Okay, it's funny why the other one is screwing up. Well, now I know there's something going on, so we'll stick with this. So I would not do any more videos on this one. And anyways, Phil, you're saying not coincidence. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, right, because of the platform. It could be the algorithms might be playing games with it. It's possible. But there was a 30-second one here of Trump. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read what President Trump was saying. Let's see. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America. And that's what we need here. We need our free speech protected. We have a Bill of Rights that they keep bragging about that is useless. We've seen that play out with the Freedom Convoy. I made a comment earlier today online. They were talking somebody, I forget what it was about now. It was something about confiscation of the private property and our speech, freedom of speech, and basically our whole Bill of Rights. And I said the government should realize that the Freedom Convoy was a trial run, because things are getting worse. So that was a test run. And next one, it won't be bouncy castles and barbecues. So keep speeding up on my speech, throttling, and I can try turning off my Wi-Fi because I'm connected direct. I'll have to go down to yeah. I'll see if this will make any difference. Okay, I'll try to turning off the Wi-Fi, and I might have my I could also have my camera on my truck might be phone signal off of me too. Where is it here? There it is. Okay, I got turned it off. We got the wheels spinning. The wheels are spinning. Okay, so that's off. Let's see if that makes any difference. Someone's effing with the stream, yeah. Okay, that was a big test. Oh yeah, like oh yeah. I talked to some people. I did help them. They're on they're off grid. They're way out in the boonies, and I helped them get their propane wall heater hooked up. They moved from Ontario, from Kingston, Ontario. He was a truck driver, and she drove for transit. And apparently they were on the East Coast in the rig together, and they were really bad now. Okay, it's back on. We'll see how that works. Now it's saying I'm frozen. I wonder what's going on with my internet. Seems strange. You usually don't have this issue. I turned that back on, the Wi-Fi. Did that make any difference? See how it is? If you can hear me now, or if it's gone. So, audio good, video sucking. Very strange. And there's nothing I can do. It's not letting me. Look, when I went to set up for the live stream, YouTube had played games. Everything was all changed. Nothing was working, and I don't panic anymore. I just get disgusted with them. And I used to be able to change some things on the output. Well, I guess I still can. Wonder if I should bump that up a bit and see. Sounds better? Okay. Maybe I'll go with that for now and leave it. And I don't know how the video is, if it's freezing up or if it's streaming. So, build a land grab thing, put search on pause. Well, New Brunswick settled that last week here. They said private property is private property and it can't be taken. So, basically the way that courts said it anyways. I think something happened in BC, I'm not sure. So, anyways, because I was concerned about that land grab too, because you never know. So, it's too bad the video's so screwed up. I had some pretty good clips on here. Now it's buffering. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to do a speed test in the middle of a live stream. Says YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience lag. So, only the government can take it. Yeah, the crown. King Charles, he can take it. So, yeah, there's no settings I'm allowed to play with right now on here. I'm on normal latency, and I shouldn't be. I should be on ultra low latency. So there's a setting that's got changed on me. and that would affect the video. So now it's saying excellent stream, so it's acting up, it's up and down. I think it's the latency. Apparently in BC we're all in the res now. We're not allowed to have any ostriches, I know that. Don't come hunting them. Yeah. So, yeah, this is weird. It's now it's all changed my stream. Right. Can you get Starlink? No. No, I'm on fiber up. Like I'm on really fast internet. So says it's excellent. It's a shame. I'd like to. So I had a couple more videos. Shorties. I can try one and see if you folks have seen these ones or not. Where are they? This is working on your phone, not your TV. This is the how bad or how much the nope, it's down again. It's breaking down again. It says poor. It goes from excellent to poor. So as long as it's saying poor, I'm not going to be able to do anything like that. But humanity has just gone completely insane. And I can try it, but it doesn't look good. I'm getting a spinning wheel here on my end. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. It may work or it may not. This is only a 50-second video. This is glitching. Red's frozen. Okay, so I'm not going to do any videos. Well, the video I was going to show, you might have seen it, but it's a car went plowing into water and stalled out. And the woman in the car can't get out. She doesn't know what to do. So the fire trucks are there and the firemen, and they're throwing a rope over to her and trying to help her get a hold of the rope. It's got a float on it. They got a big pole and hook, and they're trying to lift it up to her, and she's reaching out through the vehicle window to get it. And finally, she gets hold of the rope, and she gets out, and the water's not even up to her knees. And she walks over. It's only looks to be about 20 feet, and then she's up on the pavement. She was too scared to get out in 2 feet of water. That's how pathetic mankind has devolved to. The other one in Barrie, Ontario, there's a government dump truck going through Barrie. That's the 400, I believe, the highway, with the dump up. And there's a guy following it on camera, and it hits the overpass, and there it is, the truck stuck there with the dump all beat up, stuck up against the overpass, and the highway shut down. So this guy was driving a dump truck with a dump up on the highway in a snowstorm and doesn't know the dump is up. So yeah, you saw that. We've devolved. We've gone into complete stupidity. I always think of that movie, Idiocracy. How close we are to the idiocracy. We've done not a democracy, it's an idiocracy. So, not good. Well, okay, folks. Obviously, I'm having transmission issues here, and it's just giving me grief. So I think I'm going to get ready to wind down. And I'm gonna get back on YouTube and see what they're doing and what their game is, and so next week it'll be set up better and we can carry on without the glitches and the freezing, the audio and all that stuff, right? So, well, we got 11 more sleeps till Santa Claus comes. So, we're getting through the year anyways. We haven't done too bad here for snowstorms either, just a couple. So, we'll do it again next week. And I'm going to work on this and get these glitches. I got another test channel and I'll just go on there and see what I can do with it. Okay, lots of transports hit the ditches between Cornwall and Lancaster, really. Look, they go by me, center stripped and icy patches, and they're doing 110. I'm just waiting to go up the road and see them on the roof or on the side or whatever. Okay, folks, sorry about that. There was issues beyond my control. Have a great week. Thanks very much for joining in, and we'll do it again next week, and I'm going to have some time to get on this and try to straighten this out. So bye for now, and God bless. Take care all.